Hey everybody, so let me just do a quick technical analysis for you on what happened in the markets today. So today was your typical retracement day. So essentially, let me show you what happened on SPY. So we have this support trend line right here. So this support trend line, we caught it right here. We consolidated, we ripped higher. We broke out of this strong downtrend line that we've been in for over a year. And then you can see that we built out this resistance trend line right here. And then you can see when we had that FOMC meeting the other day, we went all the way up to that. We rejected. And then right here, we opened here today. And then we went all the way back up to this support trend line right here. And then we basically back tested this trend line. And then we rejected. So we were trying to get back above it only to reject. Now, let me show you that on a shorter time frame. So right here, I am on the 5-day, 5-minute chart. And let me show you this right here. So right here, we have this massive gap right there. So as you guys can see, in the morning, we had this massive gap up. We basically went back, we back tested that prior support trend line. We went slightly above it and then consolidated a little bit and then sold off big time. And then you can see that at the end of the day, we managed to get back above the 200-day moving average. And you can see that we're still pretty weak. So we actually closed below this gap zone. So obviously, right here, we got a little bit oversold. You saw bulls kind of come in to save the 200-day moving average. So that's essentially what happened right there. Now, let me show you the Qs. So on the Qs, we have this support trend line down here, but then we also have this shorter term support trend line right here. And then notice that we actually went back and back tested this today as well. So let me show you what's going on the shorter time frame. So on the shorter time frame, we also produced that massive gap right here. And then we went back above this support trend line, and then you can see that we faded. So right there, we faded. And then ultimately, we actually closed above this gap zone right here. So that's the difference between QQQ and SPY. QQQ is just a little bit stronger here. Now, let's go ahead and look at DXY. So DXY to me, this was one of the tells. So I saw this gap right here on DXY. Now, gaps on DXY tend to get filled pretty quickly. So I was kind of expecting this gap to get filled intraday. So notice that we faded pretty hard and then we rebounded right there. And then, we kind of chopped around and then boom, we went back and we filled that. So we created this higher high right there. And then we broke past this prior high right there only to fill that gap. So we'll kind of see what happens with the dollar here soon. But obviously, if the dollar does rally all the way back up to this level, that essentially just erases that entire loss from the FOMC meeting. And then you'll kind of see the inflation trade pick up again. Now, let's go ahead. Let's look at the VIX. Now, the VIX was obviously a tell as well. Because look, we created two gaps right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. So as you can see, VIX has two pretty big gaps. So, this was the morning, right here. And then we rallied, we filled that gap. And then here's the thing, right here, you're thinking, okay, well, are we going to sell off or are we going to see further continuation on the VIX to go ahead and close this gap? So we actually went and we closed that gap and then we did so much more. And then notice that, right now we're actually coming back down towards this area again. Now, let me show you another. So this one is VXN. So VXN is the NASDAQ volatility. So this one is also good to look at because this one also gave us a clear tell as well. So we had this massive gap right here on VXN. So this actually goes up a little bit higher. So let me extend that out a little bit. So yeah, we have this massive gap right here in red. And then on top of that, we have another gap here in blue. So we have two gaps unfilled on VXN. And basically gaps on volatility tend to fill pretty quickly. So we had this massive rally on VXN to fill this gap. And then you can see that we paused for a little bit and then boom, just a massive rally just to close this gap as well. And then ultimately, where did we end up? Well, we ended up right on top of this blue trend line or this blue gap zone. So we essentially ended at the top of this gap zone right here. So these are just some indications of when you might think, okay, well, this is kind of a fake rally maybe, and maybe we're going to sell off further. So these are some of the clues that you want to look at. You want to look at volatility, you want to look at the dollar, and then you want to look at individual tickers as well. And then just what is actually filling these gaps and what is showing strength. So I hope this video helped you guys out and have a good one.